A huge weekend of Big Ten volleyball kicks off tonight at 6 Eastern on the Big Ten Network with Northwestern taking on Michigan. It's followed by 16th ranked Minnesota at Maryland. Then tomorrow we have a doubleheader on our air. Number 24 Ohio State playing 14th ranked Penn State, and then second ranked Nebraska taking on Michigan. If that is not enough, there are 8 other matches on Big Ten Plus. You can subscribe to that for as low as $9.95 a month at BigTenPlus.com. Later today, do not miss field hockey. Number 2 Northwestern, number 3 Iowa, a marquee matchup. Live coverage begins at 4 Eastern, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Gets us to our big interview. It is Lisa Cellucci, the head coach of the Hawkeyes. She joins us now. And Coach, really appreciate you taking the time on a game day. We had Tracy Fuchs on earlier this week, too, so we've covered this matchup from both sides. National TV, number 2 versus number 3. This league is so good, but what does a matchup like this mean for Big Ten field hockey in general and for your program specifically?
It's a huge matchup for our program and for Big Ten field hockey. I mean, the Big Ten is doing fantastic. The last couple of years, we've been, at the top of our sport. We have so many teams ranked in the top 10, and to have another key matchup between number 2 and number 3 on Grant Field at home for us. We're going to have a great environment with tons of fans out there at Grant Field, and just another chance to play a really quality opponent. Iowa and Northwestern, we've met so many times over in the last really 30 years. The two programs have really battled it out, but most importantly, the last 5 seasons, I think we've met 10 times in some key matchups, and today's going to be another one of those great games.
Should be great, and I want to get into breaking it down in just a bit, but I want to catch people up a little bit on your program this year. You have had some incredible moments. You had a win over number 1 North Carolina. I know this is kind of a young team, certainly young in some key spots, and you didn't have a great sense coming into the year as to exactly what you had. So what have you learned about your team to this point this year?
Yeah, we learned a lot about our team. I mean, you're right. We graduated 8 seniors. We brought in 8 freshmen. So we have a great mix of young and old on the team. And if you would have told me that we'd be ranked number 1 for 4 weeks during this early part of this season last year, I wouldn't have believed you. But this team came in prepared. Our young freshmen they started at a really high level, and we had great team chemistry. And we really, we had some great wins early on at that Big Ten ACC Challenge against North Carolina. Wake Forest, and we kind of kept rolling. And it's been, an unbelievable first couple of weeks for us, and we just are looking forward to continue to keep it going.
Coach, you mentioned being number 1 for essentially a month there. I know you got knocked off that perch this last week. Is there value in that in a weird sort of way? I know you never want to lose, right? Every coach wants to go undefeated, win every game. But particularly when you have a young team and you've had success, maybe that has outstrip the success that you anticipated having, at least that early. Is there value in saying, hey, that we're not perfect at this point, and the loss maybe is something that you can learn from?
Oh, definitely. And, from early on, we really, the ranking was far removed from our minds. It was a great sign of respect and just an indication of our early season success. But for us from the very beginning with this group was, it's us versus us this entire season. And we have to just be committed to growth and evolving throughout the year. And if we can do that and bring high level intensity, competitive intensity every day, we're going to be where we want to be towards the end of the season. And, losses are going to happen. Our sport, there's so much parity, especially in the Big Ten. And, we talked about it. We're like, okay, it is what it is. Right. We have a chance to learn from it. Let's keep going. And we just have to continue to be better and keep the focus on us. And
you did keep going. You bounced back in a big way against Michigan State. What did that tell you about your team?
Yeah, just that we have resilience, we can learn from our mistakes, and that we can continue to improve each and every day. And, our leadership and our experience on our team has been fantastic. And we have some key players who have really been leading us through this entire season and, showing the young players, what it means to be an Iowa Hawkeye and what it is to play Iowa field hockey and play at our standard. So, I just showed me that, our team's bought in and we're ready to keep going.
Well, I want to talk about one of those young players, and I think the story of the year in field hockey this year, I think certainly from an individual standpoint, has been Deon Van Alsem. She is incredible. She is a freshman. She's leading the nation in scoring from the Netherlands. She's being referred to by some as the Caitlin Clark of field hockey. Help people understand the impact that she has made on your team and on this sport.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. I mean, she already has 23 goals on the season. You know, we haven't had a goal scorer who scored over 18 goals in quite a long time. So to have 50 points on the season and 23 goals at this point, just 11 games in, is unreal. You know, she came in. We knew we were recruiting a great player. When she committed to Iowa, we were very excited. Weren't quite sure exactly where she was going to play, and you know, to be honest, didn't know she was going to be able to score at this clip. But has a great hockey IQ, and really the difference for us is, you know, we've always been a program that has relied on our defense and has had strong history in that regard. And, you know, to be able to have a goal scorer really help, you know, continue to put us on the map and keep us in every game, because, you know, we're in every game with our strong goalkeeping, our defense, but you have to be able to score points to win. And Dion has been fantastic. And, you know, her teammates have also really set her up, and she'd be the first one to tell you that. But to continue to score at this clip, there's only been one game she hasn't scored in. And yes, there's been a lot of references to the Caitlin Clark of field hockey. I'm not sure we're quite yet ready to go there, but you know, if you score 4 goals in a game, it is like scoring 40 points in a basketball game, and she's done that. So
right.
We're just looking forward to her to continue to get better and keep going and help the Hawks.
I wanted to ask you about that because I do think the truth of the matter is, like, not everyone who's watching really knows field hockey inside and out. So when we have you on, I think part of what I want to do is to educate people. So help us understand. Maybe you just gave us that perspective. Like, is averaging a goal a game, is that the equivalent to being a 10-point-a-game scorer? So if she's 2 goals a game, is that 20 points a game in basketball, or is it more? Is it 30?
I think it's actually a little bit more. I mean, you know, in field hockey, the really closest games are very low scoring, right? And so to be able to have a quality number of shots, I mean, she was averaging just close to 3 goals a game. I mean, yeah, that is like 35 points in a basketball game, which is not easy to do. So, you know, and she's being double and triple teamed. It's quite a feat. So, you know, the amount of shots she's getting on goal, the amount of assists that she's also providing, it's a really well-rounded game and quite offensive, a lot of offensive production.
Can you give me the backstory on her? How did she make her way to Iowa?
Yeah, so our associate head coach, Michael Bohl, he's from England, and he has some great recruiting contacts overseas. And he had heard about Dion, and we got a chance to see her play. And then, you know, we were able to bring her on an official visit. And when she got to Iowa City, she really fell in love with the town, the community, the people, just, I think, the history of our program. And yeah, we were so excited to get her because, you know, there were a lot of programs that were recruiting her. And she said, you know, Iowa City felt like home to her and family. And I'll tell you, she's, you know, people are recognizing who she is in and around town, and they're calling her Dion Van Awesome instead of Van Awesome. So it's been a lot of fun, and she has just a quiet confidence about her. So it's really neat to just see her take this all in, but just kind of stay focused on the everyday and keep going.
Coach, the last time we had you on, we talked quite a bit about your nephew Peter. He was battling brain cancer. Your team had really taken him under its wing. I just wanted to get an update. Bring us up to date on how Peter's doing in his battle.
I so appreciate that. You know, he's doing great. He just started 4th grade. He finished his treatment about almost a year ago right now. So now the situation is he gets scans every 4 to 5 months to check to see if there's any disease. And so far, so good. There hasn't been. And that'll happen for 5 years. And if we can hit that mark, then hopefully the word remission is used. But he's doing great. You know, obviously going through the treatment that he had, over 15 months of chemotherapy and radiation. He was unbelievably resilient. And I couldn't thank the Hawkeye community, our team, and people from all over the country who just have supported him and the family and the prayers. It's been wonderful. But he's enjoying 4th grade and doing all the normal things that a 4th grade boy is doing. So, and he loves the Hawks. He's still watching us all the time. So really appreciate you asking about Peter, but he's doing great.
Of course. Yeah. We've obviously thought about him quite a bit since we talked about him a couple years ago. So really wonderful to hear that news. I do want to finish up with today's game. Give us the scouting report here. This is such a great rivalry, as you said, between Iowa and Northwestern. The anticipation's been building on this one all week. What do you need to do to get a win against the Wildcats?
First and foremost, we need to do the work to keep our structure defensively. You know, Northwestern has an unbelievable transition game. They can just draw penalty corners, score goals, and they catch people in transition with their speed and their skill. So our ability to really set up our counter defense is going to be very important. And then on the attacking side of the ball, you know, we have to commit to moving the ball and just do the willingness to do the work on the offensive side of the ball, so we can catch them in transition too. Because you know we have quite a transition game ourselves, so we have to put them under pressure.
This should be a fabulous game again later today, 4 o'clock Eastern time on the Big Ten Network. Lisa Cellucci, really a pleasure to catch up with you. Best of luck, not just today, but going forward. And thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks so much, Dave. Really appreciate it. Go Hawks.